57 no-go Zepbound foods to seriously stay away from on your Zepbound weight loss journey and Tirzepatide weight loss journey, part 2. Hi, beautiful friends. I'm Elizabeth, Countess of Shopping. I've lost over 108, maybe more than that. And when you see my upcoming weigh-in video, but this video is coming out before that. And I've lost that over the last 2.5 years of being on Mounjaro, Zepbound, and Tirzepatide compound. The combination of those not at the same time. Differences because of the shortages. On today's episode, it is a part 2 of my previous video that was on no-go Zepbound video foods, which I'll link down below. And in that part 1 of this 3-part series, I talked about the science of a new study that had come out. I cited that source. I'll cite it down here below in this specific episode, talking about how eating more protein helps with lean mass. And that actually in turn helps it by keeping it more. And by doing that, that helps to burn more fat. And from somebody who's made a ton of lifestyle changes, going from morbidly obese to lifting, for me, my focus is on helping to protect my bones and my overall wellness and keeping that lean mass, that lean muscle mass. And so this whole study was the basis and the scientific background behind today's video. And so I literally have 57 foods for you. I do in fact have a full list of what not to eat, because you guys want what not to eat, specifically with 57 different foods. In my free encouragement group on those are the ones I wanted to show you. On countessofshopping.com/group, that's my free group. We talk in depth about these. We have a free recipe section in there, in addition, like the whole food section of what you can specifically look at too, to help give daily encouragement with that. So we're going to go through those 57 foods, I promise you. And I also have on that list specifically about sulfur burps. If you are experiencing that, stay till the end. I'm going to talk about that too. Many people have that and that acid reflux. We're going to talk about that in addition to other foods that contribute. But I have to give a bunch of disclaimers. There's a bunch of disclaimers on here because I would not be helping you after my 2.5 years of experience, strength, and hope, not as medical advice. You need to talk to your Avengers team, Avengers Assemble, of healthcare professional. Maybe a therapist is included in there, a dietitian, a trainer, a bunch of people. And if you can't afford those things, then finding really good resources here on YouTube and other methods that will help provide that support. But having that support for permanent, sustainable lifestyle changes. I would not be doing what I'm doing if I didn't have people around me helping and giving me guidance of people who know how to do some of these things while losing over 108 pounds. So number 1, this video is about no-go foods. I would not be doing you justice, and I would be doing you a massive disservice if I didn't say, for my journey coming from a disordered perspective of food, and in my humble opinion, you can't be over 300 plus pounds and morbidly obese, for me, talking just about myself, without my disordered perspective with food. And so with that, me saying number 1, no-go foods, making this ironclad black and white statement, that is a disservice for me if I was just starting this medication. For me, nothing is off limits on Zepbound. Nothing. If I have that black and white perspective, it leads to me a disordered perspective with food, which if you saw me previously, I've been on YouTube for over 7 years. I lost a ton of weight with keto. I felt so much shame, guilt, and I felt horrible. I was morbidly, I was so embarrassed. I gained back all that weight and then some during COVID. It was mortifying. I literally wanted to leap out of my skin. And part of that for me was having these very concrete, rigid rules. So what I want to encourage you is nothing is off limits, but for me, there is a recoil of what can happen if I do choose to have some of these foods while being on Zepbound or Tirzepatide compound. And I'm going to lump in our Wegovy and semaglutide brothers and sisters in here too. So nothing is off limits. It's just sometimes I have consequences for some of these foods if I do choose to eat them. Reframing it in my brain that way to help heal my perspective with food has worked well for me. Disclaimer number 2, making permanent, sustainable lifestyle changes. For me, this is not a quick fix. This is literally changing my life. I'm not trying to look hot for the beach for 2026. I'm trying to literally change my life to be a healthy, strong individual that God willing lives a long time without all these conditions that happen with obesity. So the mental, physical, and emotional component of this is what factors in for me to go to those permanent, sustainable lifestyle changes. So is eliminating foods completely, for that disclaimer number 2, helping or hurting my long journey of sustainable lifestyle changes? Disclaimer number 3, This is not one size fits all. It's not. And if anyone tells you that, run, Forrest, run, because they don't know what the flippity flappity that they're talking, what they're talking about, truly. And so I want to encourage you, there's not a one size fit all. Obesity is a very wide arc, a very wide hoop with many, 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 many different ways to do it. You need to find the most loving, kind, compassionate way to help you on your health journey that works for you. So some of this is not going to be applicable. Take what you want, leave the rest. And you don't need to bash on the way out if you don't like it either. This is the loving, kind environment. It is not one size fits all. Disclaimer number 4, there is no quick fix. There is no quick fix. The media would love for you to buy in that Ozempic is a quick fix and that Zepbound is a quick fix. For me, this has not been a quick fix. Can you lose weight rapidly on GLP-1 medication? Heck yeah, you certainly can. There's 4 different buckets: hyper responders, hypo responders, normal responders, and non-responders. Those hyper responders will lose weight quickly. And that can be a quick fix. But again, I want you to reframe, going back to the disclaimer of mental, emotional, and physical wellness, that there is not a one size quick fix. I mean, there's not a quick fix. You could gain it, you could do that and then lose all the weight and then gain it back. So there's not a quick fix with this, and reframing that this is for permanent lifestyle changes. Number 4 is some of these are not going to be necessarily applicable for type 2 diabetics. If you have type 2 diabetes, my Mounjaro and Ozempic brothers and sisters, keeping that in mind that this will vary for you. And so keeping that in mind, I'm talking specifically today for Zepbound and Tirzepatide and semaglutide users and Wegovy users, not necessarily for Ozempic and Mounjaro users. This is you're part of it, but some of it's going to be a little bit different, nuanced. If you want me to tag team in for type 2 diabetics, happy to do so. Tell me in the comments below. Let's dive in. 57 foods. It's like 57 card pickup. Number 1, we're gonna talk milkshakes. They do bring all the boys to the yard. If you got that reference, we're besties. But the sugar in there, having things like high sugary foods, that for me leads to instant, not to be crass, but instant slip and slide. For me, if I want massive blowout diarrhea, it's having a very sugary drink like a milkshake. And so for you though, if you're having constipation, maybe that milk will be good for you. Having a dairy type thing, maybe that's helpful for you. This is where it's not a one size fits all. But having milkshakes, because it has dairy and because it does have sugary components in there, y'all, I got a ton of these in here, by the way. We had a ton to go through. Number 2, high fried foods, like KFC fried chicken, Chick-fil-A French fries, Wendy's, no, that's not it. So those are my 2 examples of fried foods. If you're having fried foods, for me, almost blow out diarrhea in my pants, which is so gross and so crass, but just the most common gastrointestinal ones are diarrhea, constipation, nausea, and vomiting. And going back over to that study that I referenced in part 1 of this no-go foods thing was talking about lean proteins. Maybe not having the Chick-fil-A French fries and leaning in towards having chicken instead and leaning more towards that because it's got the protein and that protein to help with it. Now it's fried. Can that lead to more gastrointestinal issues? And that's where I would love the reframe of, is this going to help side effects for me or hurt side effects for me? Is it going to help with weight loss or is it going to hurt weight loss? And mostly I look at it from the side effects perspective of that. McDonald's Big Mac. Y'all. I couldn't eat a whole Big Mac. I did have, it's 2.5 years. Like that's a long time, right? Like more than that I've been on these medications. Your girl wanted a McDonald's Big Mac. I got one, had a bite of it, and I almost threw up all over myself. I was like, this is disgusting. I used to, mind you, eat a ton of Big Macs. The greasiness of it was what did it for me. The greasiness. Now I put down here Thousand Island dressing. Yeah, I love Thousand Island dressing. If I ever could get sponsored by a Thousand Island dressing company, I would do it. Specifically, well, I'm not going to tell you my specific company that I love for Thousand Island, but I love Thousand Island dressing. I can't really have a lot of sauces anymore because that also tends for me, and sugary, like that just doesn't do well for me. I lean instead in towards, and we're going to talk, stay till the end, I'm going to talk about things to have instead, like substitutions. As opposed to being black and white, there's gray with having substitutions. So Thousand Island dressing or sauces or ranch dressings or dressings, like, you see what I'm saying? Having like a vinegar for me can be helpful, But if you have acid reflux, is that going to help you or hurt you? This is where there's not one size fits all. There's not one size fits all. Next, sugary drinks, alcohol specifically. Alcohol for GLP-1 patients generally does not fare well. So if you used to drink, I haven't had a drink in like 19 and a half years. I don't drink alcohol. No judgment to anybody. You do you. Like, you do you. Like, my hot husband just had a beer yesterday. I don't care. For me, my body does not do well with alcohol. So I haven't had it for 19 and a half years. If you have alcohol with the GLP-1 medication, that may do different things for you. You may get drunker faster. With the delayed gastric emptying that happens, it changes your body. 2, the blood sugar component. Our blood sugars, regardless if we're type 2 diabetics or not, there is changes with our blood sugar for our Wegovy besties, Zepbound besties, and then just Tirzepatide compound or semaglutide compound. So alcohol mixed drinks, wine, liquor, beer, those can lead to issues. Specifically, like alcohol is one of the biggest things in my free encouragement group that I see frequently people talking about. And you can go sign up. It's totally free. My gift to you. Like, you pay nothing. It's an awesome free encouragement group of thousands and thousands of amazing, fun people. And in there, people will talk about their different experiences. Oh, I had a margarita this weekend. Again, is eliminating that completely going to help you or hurt you? If it's hot and you're at the beach with your family, does that make sense for you to have a margarita? Like, the context of this matters, I feel like, too, of like, yeah, maybe having one. Maybe you used to have like 4 and maybe you have 1 this time. I don't know. Some people are like, I had 2 glasses of wine. It was amazing. I felt nothing. It was like, it felt good. Some people, it's like 2 glasses of wine. I barfed my brains out for 48 hours straight. Or I felt so nauseous the next day, completely ruined my next day. That is where it's dependent on you and testing these different no-go foods of what works well for you. Next, coffee. And when you say, how dare you, Countess of Shopping? How dare you take away my coffee? Bestie, don't worry. For me, it's more so the caffeine component, like coffee, Coke, Diet Coke, energy drinks. That caffeine for me literally will clear my system out. But maybe for you, you may not have blowout massive diarrhea. So for some people, they do. Or it can lead to intense nausea, sometimes even vomiting. I still have my coffee. Like, your girl still loves a good coffee. I just have decaf. That doesn't seem to affect my stomach better, but this is not a no-go for everybody. I had literally 1 cup of coffee this morning, 1 cup of decaf this morning. Diet Coke, I was on HSN yesterday. Hopefully you guys saw that episode, the latest one, and I'll be on this upcoming Saturday. I'm not sure when this video will come out, but I'll be back on HSN on Saturday at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in that hour, like 9 to 10 a.m. for a 15-minute segment. I tried to have a Diet Coke before I went up because I knew I was going to be away from my house all day to try to help go to the bathroom, and it didn't. So it's not always tried and true. Juice, the high sugar, that sugar, because it's in higher processes with it, that can also lead to where you feel weird with your blood sugar, right? And that may make you more tired because Zepbound fatigue is real, Wegovy fatigue is real, things like that. High fat foods. I've told the story and I'm going to tell it again. I was on a hot date with my hot husband and I got a ribeye steak. We were at a beautiful French restaurant. They focused in on steak frites and steaks, like actual steaks. And I got a ribeye and I ate it, and friends, I was in a pretty dress. I almost pooped my pants, and this is so embarrassing. I'm telling you my almost pooped my pants story. Maybe that should have been the title of this video. I almost pooped my pants because of Zepbound. So bacon, ribeyes, hamburgers, and I'm gonna lump in there cheeses, pepper jack cheese, cheddar cheese, Colby jack cheese in general. Like, these higher fat things for me don't fare well. They don't fare well at all. I fare very well with leaner proteins, like having a lean hamburger or a turkey burger. I do really well with that. Like, but a full fat, like Five Guys kind of one, ooh, I'll be on the toilet all night. And again, this is where having these no-go foods, have a flipping hamburger. If you want to go to Five Guys and get one of they have where they flip the buns upside down and it looks kind of like a grilled cheese, but it's not a grilled cheese. Those are amazing. But if I have that, I'm going to have consequences later on. That's not for everybody. And again, if you are on a lower dose for these no-go foods, you may be having more reactions or less reactions. I didn't have the vomiting and nausea until Zepbound 15 milligrams. It took me to the highest dose to feel those. Now, sweetened iced coffees, nacho cheese, chips, cookies, Cinnabuns. Yeah, I love me a good Cinnabuns. Cake, cupcakes, muffins, donuts, ice creams. So these last ones are sugary ones, that blood sugar component. It's just not good. It may cause diarrhea or it may cause constipation. For our friends who are constipated, this video isn't sponsored by Bioptimizers, but they're my favorite for constipation. Magnesium breakthrough, 7 types of magnesium. People are like, oh, I'm so skeptical of you talking about that. And I'm like, okay, like then people try it and they're like, you're right. I'm like, I know, 7 types of magnesium. I have not been constipated since having these. And it also helps with muscle recovery and a ton of other Zepbound side effects. But having these no-go foods for me, do I have a, yeah, I do. We were at the Outer Banks. There is the most amazing muffin shop. Do you know the Muffin Man who lives on Wisteria Lane? Yes, I do. That Muffin Man makes the best muffins, and I got a muffin. But later on, I paid the consequences for it. Are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to pay the fiddler with some of these? Nacho cheese and chips, y'all, those are my weakness. I am more of a chip person than I am a sweets person, but that for me will lead to intense constipation. I almost said competition. Constipation, intense constipation. It's not really what, I mean, having my Bioptimizer's magnesium breakthrough, I don't have constipation anymore. But I can tell when things are not as regular, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not constipated, but it definitely affects my stomach. And even with these two, the other no-go component of that is if I'm not necessarily having diarrhea or constipation or nausea or vomiting, it's the other proponent of I have an upset tummy. My tummy doesn't feel good. And that I like to be highly productive most days. Some days I like to be a vegetable, most days. But I'd rather not have stomach aches. And that's what these things can lead to is gastrointestinal issues. Next, spiking blood sugar, sweetened yogurts. I love sweetened yogurts. Like I had, what was it? You guys had recommended ratio yogurt. Thank you, by the way, our bestie here. It was, no. Was it Mandy? Was it Mandy? Forgive me, Mandy, if it wasn't you. Forgive me. We were talking about sweetened yogurts. Ratio, because it's got high protein in it. OIKOS, Okas, high protein. They have like slight sweetener in them. Like, but I'm talking more like not those high protein ones necessarily, but like a Dannon one with like, I'm talking about those. You see what I'm saying? But if that bothers you, then like Faye Greek yogurt unsweetened. Sometimes I'll put a little bit of honey on that. In consulting and doing research for this video, honey was one of the things that they said was a no-go. I find just a smidge of it, a little bit of it on a Faye Greek yogurt fares way better for me than other things. But like having sugar-free stuff for me can lead to more gastrointestinal issue problems with it. I do love I have those pumps, like those sugar-free pumps of syrups. Have you guys seen that on like Water Talk and Coffee Talk and stuff? I like those quite a bit actually. But sometimes, depending on if it's day 2 and day 3, which I have peak appetite suppression and also peak side effects challenges on day 2 and day 3, versus day 5, day 6, day 7. Day 5 is half-life's dose for Zepbound. For Wegovy, it's day 7. But on day 5 for me, for Zepbound, then I have less appetite suppression. So these no-goes affect me less challenges. Now, white bread, white rice, white pasta, jam, pudding. Again, spiking my sugars on there. And those sugar, like A, I feel wonky, but B, it can lead to either constipation or diarrhea for me. No go. Like no go all the time. I think that's for some of these too, of where going back to, there's a ton on this page. One of the reasons why I saved it near the end is not everything has to be a no-go, but it's maybe just for a pocket to see if eliminating some of these things, if it makes you feel better, if you're feeling not well. Like if you haven't pooped, someone was telling me, like, I haven't pooped in 6 days. And I was like, A, you need to immediately tell your healthcare provider that you're so massively constipated, but B, maybe that is the time to introduce coffee, right? I said earlier, coffee was a no-go because it could lead to diarrhea. But if you're severely constipated, maybe that is the thing to do. That's why I'm saying this is not a tried and true list. And you go down in the comments and people are going to bash me because I'm like making these absolutes with it, and that means they didn't watch to this part of the video. So as you watch this part in the video, you and I can go, nah, 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 she said it in the video. I'm just teasing y'all, but kind of not. Okay, sulfur burps. Let's talk about those. Burps that smell like eggs. Say eggs. These are, I never had these, but I've heard, and so many people in my free encouragement group talk about the sulfur burps, of where you just burp and it smells like eggs. And so some of the foods that can lead to this are eggs, actually have a higher sulfur compound in them, pork, bacon, sausage, milk, like dairy products. So if you're putting in an iced coffee, milk specifically, and then also separately like an iced coffee that has milk in it, that can lead to more sulfur burps. Yogurt, cheese, beans, and then ones that have sulfur compound that break down into hydrogen sulfate are peas, Brussels sprouts, cabbage, kale, and then cauliflower and broccoli. I don't want to put on here, don't eat cauliflower and broccoli. Like, some of this we got to have common sense with. Common sense, which is not always so common these days, but common sense. Like, if you're having burpy breath, like broccoli, I think is amazing. And saying it's a no-go food, that is for people who have sulfur burps, but maybe trying some of these other things before broccoli, because it has so much good fiber in there and has so many other good vitamins and nutrients for us too, right? Having high nutrient dense foods, for me, for permanent lifestyle changes is my goal. Strong sulfur compounds in them are chives, garlic, onion, leeks. If you're having a ton of leeks, maybe lay off beds this week in the leeks and see if that helps with your sulfur burps. I know you're just pounding the leeks and that's why you're having sulfur burps. No, I'm just teasing. And you may notice a difference at day 2 and day 3, you feel worse versus day 5, day 6, day 7. More burps from things like sparkling water. Y'all, I drink sparkling water so much. I'm a ride or die with sparkling water. I'm obsessed, but it does make you burp more. Monster energy drinks, Diet Cokes, things that are carbonated vegetables, carbonated beverages can make you burp more, and then that can also trigger those sulfur burps too. Processed foods, hard to break down, like microwavable meals. If you've been having a bunch of those and sulfur burps, switching over to take, like, the processed foods could be slowing down because of that gastric delay emptying with Zepbound and Tirzepatide and GLP-1 medication. If it's processed and we're having a delayed gastric emptying, something to think about. Next, BART. I'm Homer Simpson. Maybe think of The Simpsons completely. BART, bananas, applesauce, rice, and toast. If you are having blowout diarrhea, perhaps having more of these to help bind you. Now, I had this where I was having like so much diarrhea. Having toast and I put a bunch of butter on it. That was a big mistake because it was a high-fat food with the butter. And guess what it did? It made me have more diarrhea. So then I scaled it back and had just a little bit of butter because I didn't want to have plain toast, but maybe just having plain toast, right? BART, bananas, applesauce, rice, toast. Maybe that's helpful for you if you're having diarrhea. If you're having constipation, maybe focusing on having more leafy green vegetables and going back over to this sulfur burps list. Like, this is why I wanted to break it down of like constipation, diarrhea, vomiting, like these certain things can trigger that. For me, with my acid reflux, that definitely came from Zepbound and Manjaro. Tomato sauce. I had to pause from having tomatoes, which I love. Tomatoes, tomato sauce, because it burned too much. And I was like taking so many Tums. So that's something to think about too, is case by case basis. And this is the other thing, as for me, it has been a massive evolution. Where I started with my food journey is not where I am right now, 2.5 years later. And so I really want to encourage you, the evolution with love, kindness, grace, compassion, and curiosity, the evolution for you on your journey of trying some of these things. I said it in my last video and I couldn't remember which of the fairy tales it was. It's the Goldilocks of trying different beds. This bed is too firm. This bed is too soft. Where's the porridge she was eating? And now I feel like I've screwed it up again. In this video. It's Goldilocks though. She's trying to make a daggone decision. And so testing things that work for you and seeing. On countessofshopping.com, and also in our group, I have a free tracker. Track your food and see, like, track your food in terms of for side effects. It's a side effect tracker on countessofshopping.com to see if that helps alleviate some of these. But really and truly, friends, I think so part of this to button all of this up for you is things are going to be different at different times. Even during the given week from day 2 and day 3 versus day 5, day 6, day 7, that may vary for you. This is why not one size fits all. So that, then also changing doses. When you first start a different dose, for me, definitely varied the foods that I was eating and the choices that I was making. If I have way less appetite suppression and I'm eating this amount of food versus eating this amount of food, that is going to vary also what I'm eating. If I have low appetite suppression, meaning I'm hungrier and I'm eating more, I'm going to have more proteins, lean proteins though, and more highly nutritious foods like fruits and vegetables. If I'm having smaller portions, I'm still having lean proteins and I'm still focusing in on high nutrient foods like fruits and vegetables, but maybe more so if I'm constipated, I'm going to have like a cup or 2 cups of leafy green vegetables, right? If I'm having that lower, I have high appetite suppression, low hunger, and I'm only eating this amount, and I'm having blowout diarrhea, then going over to that BART of that food choices may be beneficial for me. If I'm having nausea and vomiting and my appetite portions are this big compared to this big, if it's this big, maybe focusing on like bone broth or having, because it has protein in it, so it's helping aid in that lean muscle mass. If I'm having nausea, for me, not having high fat foods, when I have those high fat foods, that triggers for me about ready to yakety sackety and blow, like she huffed and she puffed and she blew the house down, like, ugh. So high fat foods for me definitely trigger my nausea and vomiting. So that's where this is going to be like, okay, I had a side effect. I felt it. What did I eat in the last 24 hours? Specifically, was there a last meal that I had that helped to trigger this, or is it everything? You may find it's not everything. You may find it is everything. And there's no shame in that game, baby, of asking your doctor for Zofran for nausea, because nausea is the most common of side effects of the diarrhea, constipation, nausea, vomiting, of the gastrointestinal ones. Like, go ask, you know what I mean? Or if you're having, in terms of these no-go foods, it is very important then for me with changing my perspective with food and healing that perspective with food. I am not fully there yet. I'm getting close. But healing that perspective with food, changing over my mindset of what is healthy for me for permanent lifestyle changes, of not having no-go foods, but what can I substitute instead? What makes better sense for me instead? That is very, very helpful for me. Very, very helpful for me. Because when I go into this elimination black and white space of, I'm not going to have this, it leads for me later on to have recoil. And that recoil leads to a bunch of other stuff, problems. My problems then have puppies. That is me. Thine own self be true. Maybe you are not that way. Maybe you thrive in having absolutes. If I'm not going to do this, like my husband can do that. And it works actually very well for him when he gets into like, for me, that does not. Having substitutions and shifting over into something else instead. I can have a hamburger, but I'm going to choose to make it out of, with my patties, a little bit leaner cut of beef, because leaner cuts of beef or turkey or lean ground chicken or things like that for protein work better for my stomach. But you're going to have to try this out a little bit too to figure out what's best for you. This is why with side effects, when it makes me mental and I want to poke my eyes out, when I hear people being like, this is the way, I'm like, this is not necessarily the way for GLP-1 patients. And this is the way when you first start 6 months of GLP-1, totally a different ballgame for someone like me who's been doing this for 2.5 years. Totally different ballgame, right? And so that's where I want, and this is why this video is also so long, because this is why it's a 3-part series, because there is so much more to this narrative that I want to keep discussing, which I will do in a part 3 series. I would love to hear if you have questions off of what I've talked about. I've gone through this whole list. I also don't want people to, I have said now, I think 7 different times, that we are all different. Things are going to be different. Protein quantities for lean protein, like I said in the first video, are going to be different. We are all different. So no need to bash if I've said something in here that doesn't make sense, but if you have something else to contribute that makes sense, that's like, oh, maybe this would be helpful for other people, please with that. I would love to hear that in the comments. This is a helpful comment for other people. This is what I've had a hard time with. And we in the comments can start, that's our question of the day, of what has been challenging for you, but phrasing it in, this is what's been challenging for me, with our I statements, right? It also makes me mental in the comments when people give these blanket statements, because it's not blanket. We are all so different. My journey is so different from somebody coming on this medication who's doing, maybe their intention is to do microdosing or small quantities that they don't necessarily, or for sleep apnea. That is going to be very different for Zepbound versus morbid obesity in which the focus is, right? So giving context, it matters, and keeping that all in mind. My goal is for you to be encouraged, for you to leave this video now being like, okay, I have some clear-cut plans of what I can do. I'm going to test. I'm going to try some different foods. I'm going to try some different substitutions of, I love bacon, so maybe I'm going to try turkey bacon and see if that helps. For me, I'd rather just not. Like, for me, I'm like, I'll have maybe a half of a piece of bacon to keep that in, even though it's a high-fat food. And that is not going to cause all these massive side effects for me. But processed foods that could delay in gastric emptying, something to make sure we focus in on too. That is going to be in my, like, the delay in gastric emptying longer. What are you doing today to move you closer to your goals? Tell me down in the comments below. And our emoji of the day, I do emojis of the day to get to know you better because I care. Truly, like, me knowing you, that's why I do a daily show, because I sincerely care. I'm here because I care, and I love our community so much. Literally, in the words of Josh Groban, you raise me up. You raise me up. You really do. And so make sure if you haven't joined that group, I highly recommend we have, go to that our website, the app version I love, it's on Circles. Don't go to Circles and get the app. You need to use my group information and then you can get the app. So go to the group and then on the website and then get the app. I find that's a better experience because I can check in on like morning, afternoon, lunch really easily. And I need that daily. It's like taking a daily shower. I need that daily scrubbing of negativity to put in positivity. And the group's awesome because it's different walks of newbies versus people who are like lifting and doing marathons and doing all these cool things, like very different ends of the spectrum, which is cool. My beautiful friends, our emoji of the day today is also our bat signal for me to pray over you if you don't believe in prayer, uplift you in positive thought, because all are welcome at the Countess of Shopping table. And our emoji of the day is an apple, an apple, an apple. And if you're like on your TV, because I know many of you are watching this now on your TV, you can come back on your phone and be like, apple, apple. I love it when you guys come back. I also love it when you guys tell me you're working out while you're doing this too. It makes me super happy. I got a, y'all, I almost cried when I saw this. Someone had sent in, it's like on YouTube, you can send money, I guess. It was so sweet. It was like I forget what it's called. I'm trying to find the comment now. It's called a, it was from Nicole. Nicole gave $4.99, which blows me away. Thank you so much. We will donate that to our local animal shelter here in rural Virginia. So it'll go back. We always donate those, the count and I. That is so sweet and so kind. Like, thank you. You do not have to do that at all. Like, that is so sweet, so kind. It makes me like cry that someone would give their hard-earned dollars like to me. It makes me like literally like, that makes me bawl. We will make sure that it gets donated. My joy comes in truly in connecting with y'all because literally my life has changed because of this. Like, I am so grateful. And I'm so grateful I don't have to do this alone. Like, that's why I'm here, is this community means the world to me, truly. Like, I love you guys so super much. There's thousands and smart, kind, solution-oriented people and who are also funny too. And with some good fashion sense. That's right, Bestie. So my beautiful friends, I love you. Be kind to yourself, be kind to others. I'm Countess of Shopping, count my blessings because life is delicious. When this video comes out, I will be on HSN, at the QVC HSN studios, August 2nd, Saturday, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I have a 15-minute segment, but they put me on any time in that hour. So any time of the hour, it's going to be like 9:22 was my last one that I had yesterday on Monday, July 28th. And you guys asked how you can see me on that. There's replays. You can go like to DVR it, to go see your replays. The shows I had previously, you can look up. It's Pure Enrichment is the company I work with for fans, and then they have cool air purifiers. Pure Enrichment and Pure Enrichment here on YouTube. It was Pure Enrichment HSN. Fans, and then you should see me. Or if you go to HSN's website under their Pure Enrichment fan, you'll see my replay show. It was with Tina, who's fabulous. She's so awesome, by the way. So awesome. I was with Emily on Monday, yesterday, July 28th, and Emily was so fun. So we've got a whole bunch of new hosts. I am a guest host. So, okay, it's a lot. I love you guys so much. I look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Don't forget to share this video with your bestie. If you're in other encouragement groups, share this video in those encouragement groups too. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys.